and the season just a few weeks away, we're going to wrap up the biggest moves of the summer. Plus, how realistic is it that we see Luka versus Giannis in the EuroLeague Finals? I mean, after Doncic dropped 42, what more magic does he have in store? But tonight, Shanae, it is all about the playoff race in the WNBA. Hey, Shanae Gumake, Malika Andrews, sis, we're back. 2 games for most teams across the league. Positioning, it has gotten tight. So what do you say? Let's take a look. 1 game in the W last night. The Dream needed the win to overtake the Aces for the 2 seed. Let's take a look at how this one went down here. The Dream taking on the Sun in Atlanta. 3 minutes left in the third. Dream up 9. Ryan Howard drive.
Okay, and one, Sun.
Gets the layup plus the foul. The Dream up by 12. Howard led the Dream, Shanae, with 18 points.
Yeah, she's tremendous, especially coming on strong when it matters most. That woman right there, Alicia Gray, is a tough bucket, tough off the dribble, but more importantly, when she's knocking down those shots, they're a tough team to beat.
So the Dream up 21 at this point. Gray finished with 15 points, Shanae. The Dream win this one 87-62 in this one. We could take a look here at the WNBA standings, seeing how this one shook out and how it impacted here what we're looking at for the playoff race here. So you see the Minnesota Lynx standing strong at the
they're
top.
sitting pretty.
But here's the Dream now with the 2 seed. They've been jockeying with the Las Vegas Aces here for that 2 seed. But there's still plenty at stake, Shanae, in the WNBA, starting tonight, where the final spot of the playoffs is on the line. The Storm, they can clinch that with the win tonight over the Valkyries, or a Sparks loss in either of their final 2 games, either against Phoenix tonight or against Vegas on Thursday. The Valkyries, they've been one of the great stories of the season. They already became the first WNBA expansion team to make the playoffs in their inaugural season. Tonight, they can clinch the 6th seed with a win or a Fever loss. And then the 2nd seed, as we just mentioned, it is up for grabs. The Aces, they will take that spot if they win out against the Sky and the Sparks, but a loss in one of those games, that would open the door for the Dream, currently the number 2 seed, to really clinch that. This is very different, Shanae, than the way that we were talking about the Aces the last time we were on air. They have caught fire. They have won 14 straight games here. How exactly did that happen? Let's just take a look back here at the Aces season. It wasn't the start that Vegas wanted, right? Through August 2nd, Vegas sat at 14-14 on the season, only in a playoff spot by half a game. That was up until August. The team had not been more than 2 games above 500 once all season. So the low point, of course, was on August 2nd.
Yes.
That was at home against the Lynx. The Aces would lose 111-58, the 2nd largest blowout in W history. Here's the message Aja left her team with.
I feel like one thing I did do is send a message to them and just say, if you weren't embarrassed from yesterday, then don't come into this gym.
So after that game, though, it's been nothing but aces for Vegas. Becky Hammond's squad has rattled off 14 straight wins, Shanae.
Yeah, they're cooking, and it's largely because Asia has willed them to step up their competitive level, and everyone has responded in grand fashion. Chelsea Gray cooking. Jackie Young has been phenomenal, but right there, I mean, she has been a beast, averaging 27 so far in this win streak.
And you can see the MVP odds shifted as well. Here's Wilson on letting games in the season come to her during this win streak.
I told myself after All-Star break to just let the game come to me. Like it's going to be what it's going to be. And if I try to harp it and force it because I want this win so bad for my team, it's like forcing the fart. All you get is shit. So like I've just really learned to be patient with myself, but also my teammates. And so I think that game kind of showed it. That's going to go viral.
I am Chelsea. Chelsea is us. So again, here's a look at where the Aces were and how they have catapulted up the standings. They were the 8th seed back on August 2nd, and now they're the 3rd seed with a chance at that number 2 spot. Shanae, what is the reason for this amazing turnaround?
Look, I am a huge fan of Asia Wilson, but she lying. She does not let the game, she goes and snatches. She doesn't wait for it to come to her. The most impactful, to answer your question, the most impactful player in the WNBA, averaging 8 points and 5 rebounds, Melissa Smith. That has been the catapult to help them, the Las Vegas Aces, to really get back into this winning column. You think about, their win streak. I mean, right now they're 19-6 when she's been a member of the Las Vegas Aces.
Right.
She's a competent player. Before there were players out there that were a little bit more liabilities offensively, but stronger defensively. Now she's all around type of player surrounding Asia, making the right plays. She can feed Asia. She can knock down an open shot. That. And also, that also and Jewel Lloyd going to the bench,
I
think actually helped because the big issue for the Aces was their depth. So those two role player factors, one being a star previously, but also assuming this veteran role going off the bench on top of Melissa Smith, has really helped them.
Yeah, they've been able to organize their offense, that hole that Kelsey Plum left when she went to the Los Angeles Sparks. It really feels like the Aces are rounding into form at the right time, and it's making it incredibly difficult on MVP voters that are trying to decipher down the stretch of this season right now. So we mentioned that's one of the big storylines we will be following. Another one is the Sparks. They have a little bit of a tough hill to climb. They need to beat both the Mercury and the Aces, plus get a little help from the Storm. They need the Storm to lose to the Valkyries tonight to clinch a playoff spot. Right? Shanae, who do you think is most likely to wrap up that 8th seed?
Honestly, I thought it was a coin flip, you know, because I'm going to pick the Seattle Storm for reasons. Everyone understands. Not the reason why I'm wearing green, but more so because if you're going to go up against the Lynx, you need veteran leadership. You need someone that understands what the stakes are going up against the best of the best. Nafisa Collier is a machine. I believe the Storm, who, by the way, 2-2 versus the Lynx so far, compared to the Sparks, I believe they lost all 4 games to the Lynx. Like, they've shown in spurts that they can be a true challenger. And especially, like, it's not just playing against, you know, Nafisa and Courtney and the stud buds whom we all come to love, and Kayla McBride. It's also Cheryl Reeve. She is one of, not even just WNBA basketball's greatest minds, and I believe that you need that veteran presence to go up against them.
So you do think it's not just the fact that you think Seattle is going to be the team. They have an easier path. They don't need help from another team, right? Win and they're in, essentially. So it's not just the fact that you think that they're more likely. You think they would be the tougher out for Minnesota, a team that has been head and shoulders above the rest.
Right now, Minnesota knows what they're doing. They clearly, the Storm, whoever plays them, are going to be underdogs. But I do want to give a nod to the Sparks because they have been amazing since All-Star break. I mean, Rakia is a superstar in the city. One of those players that can be 3-and-D, you know, 6 feet, can shoot. And then also De'Erica's consistent. Kelsey and also Julie Ollivand has really helped them, you know, especially when you see Kelsey, you know, as a point guard, maybe take the pressure off of her so she can be her best as a shooting guard.
Right.
They have optioned the Sparks. So I still think it's a coin flip, but Seattle does determine their own destiny.
Yeah, and when you have control over your own destiny, it's always just a little bit easier. But these next couple of days are going to be so much fun to follow. We have our next WM.
James, nice feed inside. Jefferson back out to Fry. Fakes, fires, hits again. It's a 1-point lead.
I'm Richard. I went to public school at Manningham Private School.
We're talking about Braun. Thank you.
Cavaliers for the second time this season. Fallout predicts.
Well, look who we have here. Channing Frye is with us all week. We are really excited to have you.
You told me you were here 2 days. It's 3 days. That's a long week. That's my week. Okay. That's my week.
That's Richard's week as well. We are really excited to have you here. No one more than Richard Jefferson. Thank you so much for joining us, even if you were a little bit late to the show.
I was.
What's his on time for him? Late is Richard's on time.
Look, I had a 45-minute sit down with the Laker head coach today. So by sit down, I mean on the phone. So it's been a really busy time.
Yeah.
You know, I got some really good information.
And
Nothing
I'm
about the
glad
team.
you dressed up for the occasion. We really do appreciate that as well. We have Brian Windhorst, who's with us, who covered you two during the finals run in Cleveland.
As a reporter.
Friends, it's been a few weeks since we've all been together, clearly, and the season is around the corner, so let's revisit the biggest off-season moves, not with these two, but with the Tower of Power.
Okay.
That sounds like a job for Wendy's Tower of Power.
Well, that's interesting. I'm holding the ball. Number 5, 4, 3, 2. Number 1.
I'm saying the voice, Tower of Power.
Tower of Power. Starring Brian Windhorst.
Oh, you've all missed me, I know. All right, now, when we talk about this, I just want to point something out. Value is very important. Value, value, value. Ready to go? Okay, number 5. How about the value the Los Angeles Lakers got by signing DeAndre Ayton? Look, they were in such need of a center. They couldn't find one in the trade market. Ayton was a surprise buyout from the Trailblazers. He comes for $8 million. Tremendous value at a position of need. He's on our list at number 5. Very key player. Number 4, the Miami Heat. Great value with Norm Powell. The Clippers traded him for in a 3-way trade with the Jazz. Great value. Norm Powell, the last year of his contract, highly expected to really try to go for that contract this year. I expect a great year out of him. You go back and look what they traded for him. It is really great value for the Heat. Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a second-round pick. Kevin Love, another 2016 Cav, still hanging on to the league other than LeBron. So, number 3, I think, again, let's talk about value. What the Atlanta Hawks gave up for Kristaps Porzingis was just phenomenal. George Niang and a second-round pick and also the 22nd pick in this year's draft. They bring in a franchise center who can be a force at the defensive end and also stretch the floor offensively. I know that he was concerned the way he had illness affected him at the end of last season, but he lifted the Hawks' spirits with the way he played for Latvia this summer. Played 27 minutes a game for Latvia, averaged 20 points. So hopefully he'll be strong starting in the fall. Number 2, this one wasn't great value, I'm not going to lie. But Desmond Bane coming to the Orlando Magic. Guys, the Orlando Magic were dead last in the league in three-point shooting percentage and three-pointers per game. They bring in Desmond Bane, a career 41% three-point shooter. They paid dearly. 4 first-round picks and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, but they believe that Bane is the missing link that will unlock their badly needed offense for a great defensive team. And number 1, I don't think there's much of a debate. Got to be Kevin Durant in Houston. Again, the value of this trade. The Suns feel like they got a good return, but the Rockets loved this. They loved giving up what they did to get Kevin Durant. He is under the last year of his contract. He can be a free agent next year. That is something to pay attention to. But one thing I know, he is going to get buckets for the Rockets who are going to defend. And when you get into a close game and you've got a defense like they do and a scoring finisher like Kevin Durant, that is the recipe for winning a lot of games. And that's number 1 on my list.
I know that's number 1 on Sinead Gumaka's list.
Yes, it is.
I don't think there's no issues that I'm seeing, especially with the number 1 spot here. But when you look at the Eastern Conference, Channing, is there a move that we should maybe be taking another look at as being a little bit underrated?
I think it's Miles Turner going to the Milwaukee Bucks. You look at what that team can do and accomplish when they have the right pieces around Giannis. And also, look what they did. They bought out Damian Lillard for $100 million, then re-signed Turner for that, another $100, showing Giannis. All the big rumors are like, where's Giannis going? Where's Giannis going? The ownership said, you're not going anywhere. We're going to replace Brook Lopez with a younger version of a guy who just went to the NBA Finals, who wants to be here. Miles Turner is always in that Defensive Player of the Year conversation. So to me, this sends a big message to the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis.
See, to me, the message to Giannis was, we're signing Thanasis. Staying in Milwaukee.
That too. But listen.
I'm gonna stay with Channing on this one only because it's like I know it's.
Did we agree?
It's early. It's
okay.
But really because there's certain players that when you see the formula around them, it's the same formula. If you put a center around Giannis that can stretch and play defense, that was the key part that helped them. Now they got to figure out the guards. They got to figure out. But I think that addition is kind of the building blocks for them moving forward for the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay, guys, I'm going to do a generational battle. I'm going to go out of the box, Malika. Out of the box. Out of the box. Yes! You guys don't know that. You're too old for that. Okay, I'm going to go out of the box, not talk about player. I'm going to actually talk about a move that you mentioned the word underrated. I don't know. People will be saying, like, is this underrated? Is it overrated? Mike Brown to New York. Coach. It's going to be interesting because the issue, and you guys know I'm a glass half full person, right?
He's already making
the issue is the succession plan. It was a mess, the transition of coaches.
Yeah.
But the good news is if you're trying to find something and you're from New York City, I got you, right? Prior to him arriving in Sacramento, they had the Kings, the 24th worst, or they're 24 out of 30 teams in the NBA when it comes to offense. The year after, they were first. So he knows how to get the most out of a squad, and more importantly, the issue with the Knicks was their depth. They add Jordan Clarkson, so now you add a couple players that can help with your depth. You hopefully get that, that influx of offense. So maybe that works out. But I know a lot of people are going to be scrutinizing what the Knicks look like, but especially considering the landscape of the East with a multitude of injuries, maybe this move matters.
My only toss back about the Knicks is that when you look at their depth, right?
What is a toss back?
Like toss it back. You do that to me, I'm going to toss it back.
Right.
It's a little sports reference.
Hot potato. My bad. Go ahead.
Okay. So, no, but to your point, though, it's like I think the Knicks did have some depth. It was the coach that was there didn't utilize or develop that depth.
Yeah.
So to add that there again, I think Mike Brown would have done more with the depth that if he would have been the coach last year. So I think the Knicks team is stronger, and now they have a new face and voice.
Oh, how about the West, Sinead? It can't be Kevin Durant move that's not being talked about enough.
I know. This is probably unfair for me to say because a lot of people are going to talk about Kevin Durant. They're going to talk about Luka signing the extension, like a lot of moves being made. it's the Warriors. Sorry, sis, it's your team. Golden State virtually doing nothing besides Kevin Looney, leaving. And then also the situation with Jonathan Kuminga. You look at 30 teams in the NBA. One of them has like one item compared to so many transactions. So what will Golden State do? How will they handle this situation? We talk about maximizing these stars' prime. Kevin Durant is in a position where hopefully they're pursuing a championship. LeBron James is in a position to hopefully pursue a championship. Is Steph Curry? I know Jimmy Butler, the lack of availability towards the end, with health, affected them, but they're going to need more, and we'll see if they can get that done.
No, I'm going to say the Phoenix Suns. We talked about this on the call you weren't on. But I think getting Green, going younger, continually build around Devin Booker. They want to take a chance on that. Obviously, we're both from Phoenix, so we want to see the best for the Phoenix Suns. Getting off Bradley Beal's contract, trading Kevin Durant, going younger, getting a pure scorer. I think this is the right move. Is it a dangerous move? Yes.
So you think that we're going to be talking about the Phoenix Suns?
I think in the West, we're going to be talking mainly about 4 teams, and then those other 5 through 10 is going to be teams like Phoenix on the 8, 9, or 10, or those teams like Minnesota. So,
well, we've already talked about the Lakers, but Ayton is in a special place where he gets to actually prove. That's to me, when I look at Wendy's list, he's in an opportunity to be like, oh wait, I'm actually an all-star level player. I wasn't happy. This is one of those, and we've seen it throughout players throughout their career have like one of those marquee moments because he's not in that space. He's like, okay, fine. There's Luka, LeBron, and this is my role.
But if you're big with his skill set, there's no one better to play with than Luka Doncic. We saw what he did with the bigs in Dallas. Now you see, like, I better eat and, be able to contribute.
There's one other person that I would say, and that other person's also on his team.
Yeah, right. Those 2 guys run the pick. Are we just ignoring James Harden? Stop it.
Oh, James Harden. But I would say those 3 on that.
James Harden is too far off the rails. We do have some breaking news here on NBA Today. This is new from our Shams Charania. Shams joins us now. What can you tell us here about the Chicago Bulls?
Malika, one of the last restricted free agents standing, Josh Giddey has reached agreement, 4 years, $100 million deal to resign with the Bulls. And so he's coming off one of the best seasons of his career, arguably his best season of his career, and particularly that second half of his season with the Bulls. 21 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists per game on 50% shooting, 46% from threes. He had 7 triple-doubles last season, the second most in Bulls history in a season behind Michael Jordan in 1988-89. So this deal cements him as a cornerstone of the Bulls moving forward as their starting point guard. The Bulls finished 15-5 last season though, so they have some playoff expectations going into this season. And Josh Giddey, how he performs, can he build off of last season? That's all going to play a factor in this season. So now there are 2 restricted free agents left on the board, Jonathan Kuminga and Quentin Grimes, after Cam Thomas got done last week, and Josh Giddey today.
4 years, $100 million here for Josh Giddey. Shams, thank you so very much for that insight. Hey, coming up here on NBA Today.
Iguodala, blocked by James. Everybody out of my way, it's time to dance. Irving puts it up. Let's go. Kyrie Irving from downtown. And the impossible dream has come true. Cleveland, this is for you. 52 years of torment and anguish has been washed away.
And that was the scene 9 years ago when the Cavs won the 2016 championship. But we get a little mini reunion here on NBA Today with Channing Frye and Richard Jefferson, because you both know a little something about winning a chip. So we thought that we'd give you this segment half off and go to Channing here.
Okay.
On the 5 key ingredients that are needed. It's my first feedback. Yeah, ingredient. I got that word. On the 5 key ingredients that you need to build a championship team. Having Richard Jefferson, I assume, is one of them.
No. Richard needed me. Richard was over till I got on the team. But listen, this applies to every single team. We did the research. And number 1, go to the board, homegrown talent. Whether that's Kyrie, whether that's the 2 J's in Boston, whether that's Jokic, whether that was Kobe, whether that was Shaq, whether that was Jordan, all these guys, you need homegrown talent, somebody that the people can rally behind, somebody that you've grown through your player development. Richard, unfortunately, had to go to about 9 teams before he got there. And number 2, which I think is sort of the most important, one of your star talented players has to accept a different role. On our team, that was Kevin. Kevin was one of the best power forwards.
Yep.
The offense was run through him. He came to a team with Kyrie and Braun, and they said, hey, we're going to need you to do less. You look at Chris Bosh in Miami. You look at who else can I go? Chris Middleton at times on the Bucks. All these guys have different. And when Kevin got hurt, Richard, who was medium star at best, accepted a different role and started and helped us.
I actually got a role.
Yeah, that's what happened. You got a role.
I got a role.
Right. Third one. You need a player in a contract year. These players, he was actually on a contract here. This applies to Richard. Richard was a stress ball. And by Richard being a stress ball, it made him play better.
Yeah.
Because, hey, when he got tired, he thought, man, I want another contract.
I want to play again.
I want to play again. So these guys, if you look back, every single team, even this year on OKC's team, all three guys were eligible for their extensions.
Right.
And how do you get the biggest extension? You play the longest and you get your value up. And Richard did that. Fourth, you need a coach that is going to get players to buy in to do stuff above themselves and for the team. When Coach talked to Richard and I, or T. at the beginning of the playoffs, he said, hey, this series we're going to use you, Richard, 20 minutes, and Channing maybe 10, and vice versa. He talked to Delly that way. He talked to everyone. T. was one of the best communicators. But if you look at OKC's team, they all bought in, right? You look at Denver when they won. They all bought in. Boston, they all bought in.
No, and I was going to say, if you look at the new salary cap formula, you're going to have, you can't have these 3 stars and then everybody else are role players. You can't really do that formula now because role players will accept it. 3 stars, they love that role.
Right.
Now you're going to have balance throughout the roster, which means getting players to buy in is even more important now.
Casey Wallace was a great example of that in the Oklahoma City Thunder series as they went through the playoffs. Some series he was needed, others he wasn't at all, and he was always ready. What do you say? You got to stay ready, so you got to get ready.
If you stay ready, you don't got to get ready.
There you go.
Right.
Even number 5.
Number 5, the biggest thing that I saw is team synergy off the court. We loved each other. We are still texting each other today, whether that's dinners, whether that's hanging out, whether that's golf, whatever it is. And for the OKC team, for young people, they love fashion. They love being in the gym, being hoopers. They like taking cool pictures like Shay does on the Instagram.
Dance or TikTok.
Dancers doing TikToks, all those type of
Has
things.
Richard gotten you on his TikTok?
No, I'm not. Listen, I got big unk status. Richard's still connected to the young people.
And this is the thing where we say, look at this. Channing's done a great job. His first big board today. And look, the difference between private school and public school is like when Channing goes to meetings, he preps. He preps. Look at, I want to show you.
I've been on TV for 6 years.
You're here today. This is Channing's notes. Look at how pretty that is.
Wow.
Look at
That's
that.
good handwriting.
The handwriting is gorgeous. This is a true professional, ladies and gentlemen. Me, I show up here and I'm like, what are we talking about today? Basketball?
Well,
Dude, he didn't even button up his shirt. Thank you. I
that
appreciate
is not something that is uncommon, unfortunately.
Company man.
So when you're looking at the Channing Frye grading scale, obviously the Oklahoma City Thunder, they meet this criteria, but we haven't seen a repeat champion in several years here, since the Golden State Warriors, and you guys are familiar with how that went down. So Richard, is there a team that you're looking at outside of OKC here that maybe fits that criteria?
Well, I still like Denver. If you look at Denver took OKC to a 7, that had them in a very, very tough spot. And then if you look at if Denver would have been able to get past them, Denver could have easily won a championship. So when we look at this, I think that there is more parity. That's why we haven't seen, obviously, some injuries have played a part into some teams not being able,
particularly in the East.
Yeah, not being able to repeat. But for me, I think when you look at the Knicks, I think have an opportunity. But it still is going to fall to me to Denver. I think teams like that. I think Houston now. But again, that first year is always very difficult. It normally takes a year or two for everything to come together if we're talking about Houston.
I think the answer was on the board. Cleveland, I think, has everything. I think you look at a team like the Knicks, it's a new coach, right? I don't know how many, I think it's only happened twice. The first year, new coach winning that chip. But yeah, Denver's always there. It's hard for me looking at what Luka's doing this summer, knowing he's going to come into the season a different human being, not to put the Lakers up there. I think they have everything.
Well,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And then I think, obviously, thirdly, I think there's a team that's a younger team that's going to make that jump. Now, I don't know if that is Orlando or if that's Detroit, but I think there's a team that's going to surprise us by being first or top 4 this year.
Well, my only thing with Cleveland is they had all of the talent. They had all the talent last year, and they didn't show enough. There's one thing that you didn't have on that board. You had all the characteristics, but there's also one more. You got to have some dog. No.
Well, because that was a big piece with Darius Garland missing a bunch of time for Cleveland.
Yeah, agreed, but it wasn't just him. You look at Jordan missed, or DeAndre missed some time. You look at that, and so for me, when I look at their team, I'm like, do they have enough grit to get through some of those tough moments?
Yep.
And if you look at their history over the last 3 years, they have gotten better. They have all of the talent, but do they have enough fight? Do they have enough dog in them? That's my only thing. I can't say a team can challenge the NBA champions, and then they lost in the second round. That's tough for me.
Well, I think that they know that, right? And you have to be able to take that hurt into the next season. Sometimes you have to experience that hurt before you're able to reach the mountaintop, and maybe this is the year that the Cleveland Cavaliers do. But one thing you had on that list, Channing, was enjoying each other off of the court, spending a little bit of time, really having a relationship with your teammates.
Oh, what the
So we thought that we would do your We're calling this game Know Your Teammates. So how this is going to work is I'm going to give you each a question.
Okay.
You could both get the same question. You're going to point to who the correct answer is.
Oh,
One
fair.
of you two,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So first, I see your watch today. Who is the better watch collection here, Channing?
Oh, Richard.
Yeah, it's
Richard.
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It is very impressive. No, this is just something light.
Yeah,
something light. I only got 3 watches, man. I'm rough on things.
I forced him to buy it.
You need to buy a watch too.
It's a great addition. I appreciate it. Now that I'm older, I appreciate it.
All right, you guys are both characters. Who was the bigger presence in the locker room?
Oh, what? No.
He was the more likable of the two.
That I
He's
believe.
more
Yeah, Rich. Whenever anybody would tell Richard something, he was riled up. He'd be like, I know. And they'd be like, you know what? We can't talk to you, Richard.
He
They go,
knows that.
Channing, go talk to Richard. So they would move me next to Richard, and Richard would complain. I'm like, Richard, you know what? You're right.
Channing,
And then he'd be fine.
Hear me when I say I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
When did this become a Richard Jefferson?
All right, how about this? Cards. I'm sure y'all played a lot of them on the planes, on road trips. Who won more? Who's more likely to win?
I don't think neither one of us play cards.
I will say this: we both have vices. Gambling's not really one of them.
No. I'll play $5 blackjack for the free drinks.
All right, how about this one? Lute Olson, who did he like more?
Oh, me. It's not even close. What? It's not even close. I stayed 4 years.
I took him to a Final Four. What are we talking about? You stayed for 4 years. That really worked out well for him. Great for him.
Who has more buildings named after them?
Oh, he paid $20 million.
That's right. If you pay to put your name on your building.
Yeah, you still got to get the money to do it.
So is my count one? It's
It's
correct?
1-0.
Richard,
1-0.
yeah, right, 1-0.
Okay. And if LeBron James, you were each to call him right now, whose call would he?
Oh, probably
be
me.
more likely?
Probably me.
It's like with me, there's probably I'm probably asking him some
You want
idiot.
something.
I don't want something. If you want to stay friends with Bron, never won anything, right? I'm just more likely to annoy him. He'd be like, "What the hell do you want, Shannon?"
Yeah, I'd be like, dude, what are you? I'd probably make fun of what he was doing in China
Yeah,
or
so we'll
something like
test
that.
it right now in the break.
No, he
who's
is
the winner
China.
there. Hey, coming up here on NBA Today, after the break, we got a busy summer for both Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. So we have a full recap of Wemby's adventures and a preview. Our Victor Wembanyama will be out for the remainder of the season.
The Spurs found this blood clot in his right shoulder.
Victor Wembanyama says he's officially been cleared to return.
Out of the way.
When I think about this young man, he wants to win right now.
On the court, Wemby is a once-in-a-generation talent, and off it, his summer, it turned into a highlight reel of its own. From the big ticket to the dream, Wemby spent a summer studying with legends who know exactly how to dominate the paint, but it wasn't all sweat and hard work, right? The Spurs star also found some time to kick it with Snoop. He even found a moment with Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe, and Tina Fey. And while Wemby's summer may have started with grounding himself with monks in China, he went from meditating to moonwalking. Living up to that nickname, the Alien, he checked out NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston last week. What's the most impressive part of his summer here, Rich?
For me, I can't believe we didn't add him bending that kick in. Do you see the
Oh,
goal
yeah,
that
the soccer
goal that he
goal.
had?
That
I was
was
like, what the
excellent.
hell?
I know we're all just happy. We're just happy to have him back on the
No,
floor.
we are. Look, he's one of those players that you don't get very often, that his talent, his ability, also his personality, his want to do that. I love Jokic. He is one of the great basketball players of all time, but his personality is more of like he wants to be there. And we've had
wants
other
to hang with the
He wants to
horses,
hang with the
I can
horse.
relate.
There's other players in history that have been like that. Victor Wembanyama is one of those players that will grow the game of basketball. So you appreciate that for him. So I love all of this, but now it comes back to getting it done on the court, and I'm excited excited to see what the Spurs have done this year.
No one has covered him more closely than our Brian Windhorst. It's year 3 for Wemby, and the question is, what do you think, Brian, the Spurs need around their superstar to truly become the powerhouse that we're waiting for? We know it's going to happen eventually, but this is still a very young team that frankly hasn't played that many games together.
Yeah, Malika, that's why I would say that they need experience, because they've kind of got two different teams. They've got some veterans on their roster, but, with Dylan Harper, who is their top number 2 overall pick, he's already got a wrist injury. Unfortunately, he's going to miss some time, maybe almost all the preseason. With him and Stephon Castle, you're looking at committing to playing 2 very young guards. And if you're talking about the recipe for winning in the NBA, it's not playing young guards. Now, De'Aaron Fox, obviously, they committed to him hugely. They do have other veterans on their roster like Devin Vassell and Harrison Barnes, etc. But to me, they're going to maybe have to walk the line a little bit between developing their young guys who they've drafted to put next to Victor and whether they want to actually win in a very highly competitive Western Conference.
And Wendy, what I love about your reporting and you just being there everywhere Wemby is the fact that we have seen the rivalry between him and Chet. And when I think about the development of this team, the Spurs, it's very much could parallel the Oklahoma City Thunder, winning through the draft, getting star talent, securing them over the long term. But even more so, what excited me the most this summer was obviously him training with Hakeem. Because a select few players have the ability and the opportunity to go with the dream. And, at times I read about it with LeBron or even Giannis spending time in Houston, which, by the way, I was like, please come on down. But it's all right. We got Kitty. I am mad at that. But the fact that, when you see greatness, right, on the court, we sometimes feel like that's what they do all day, every day. You have to sort of open your mind. You know that, Richard. You need breaks from the game. And I believe that he found different avenues. I don't know what Snoop. What's his bars look like? You know what I mean? But it's just like opening your mind to different avenues of greatness to keep you
Snoop
sharp.
opened his mind, I bet.
Oh my God.
Janae, you just, Brian, help me get back on track here. The only thing I'm looking at here, it's not these 3 with San Antonio. It is someone like De'Aaron Fox and Victor. They've only played, 5 games together, and now you're talking about this Dylan Harper injury. We could maybe be seeing a little bit of a slow start here for the San Antonio Spurs. Nope.
Yeah, so the big thing with the Spurs is they've got 3 guards with Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, and De'Aaron Fox, and they're going to want to play all 3. They value those 3 guys. In fact, Kevin Durant had the Spurs on his trade list, and the Spurs were like, look, we're not doing this if we're going to have to give up any of these assets. Either it's the pick that became Dylan Harper or Stephon Castle. So the question to me is, how do they play those guards? Because I think they owe it to themselves to play those young guys, but obviously they gave De'Aaron Fox a max contract because they see him as the running mate to Victor going forward. So, look, I'm a big believer in the Spurs' future. I'm not sure I'm sold that this is the year they leap into the top 6. But, hey, I've got a rule, and I'm bringing it back this September. No ceilings on Victor Wembanyama. Let's bring it back.
The one thing I will say this, if you were to ask me which one they were going to prioritize, I think they would prioritize winning. If you look at some of these other teams, you can prioritize your young players, but young players also have to earn the right to be on the court. We're not going to give you 30 minutes, and if we lose, we lose. We're going to give you 20 minutes, and if you can earn that time, because we got all-stars, future all-stars that are trying to win. So we're not going to just jeopardize our whole season to give you an extra 5-10 minutes and lose an extra 10 games. You have to earn that, which can be great for young players.
Right. Well, it's not just Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs that have had an interesting offseason. We're going to take a look at some of the other happenings around the league, some treetops here, if you will, starting in South Beach. That's where Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore himself, he pulled up to the Heat's practice. He got some shots up with Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr. Wendy, what's your favorite Adam Sandler movie? It is his birthday today, by the way.
Oh, happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday. Definitely Happy Gilmore. My 7-year-old watched it for the first time, learned some new words, and loved it. I can't watch Uncut Gems again. I watched Uncut Gems one time, too much stress. Happy Gilmore, I'd much rather watch over and over.
Even with that added colorful language that Richard Jeffrey Deer's sons.
My kids just watched it for the first time about a month ago.
And just like Happy Gilmore
Never watched
had his
it.
signature swing. You've never seen Happy Gilmore?
It's on your list, by the way.
Oh,
Miss
Lord.
Titanic. Miss Titanic.
I know, I've never seen the Titanic. They've got their signature shoes. Really? Here's a ranking of the ones that hit the court the most, right? We're looking at the signature shoes worn the most by players. So you see Kobe Bryant by a mile. But look who's coming in at number 4.
Sab.
A lot of
Sabrina
people
too.
wearing Sabrinas.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are. They say the grip on those bad boys are very similar to like the Kyries.
But it's pretty impressive to see a WNBA player in the top 5 of this list today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all know that Sabrina took a lot of inspiration from Kobe, you know, being in the family, being so close. And so, like, I love how it's unisex. Everyone rocks Sabs, but also want to give a shout out to Asia, who has her shoe. Caitlin came out with her signature logo. Stewie has her own shoe. Like, it's a new day where women are getting this opportunity, and Sabrina is showing that if you invest in them, it will pay off. Period.
And what you owe them.
Yeah, you want them?
Let's go to Hall of Fame inductions this weekend, and LeBron James still enjoying the moment. He was inducted as a member of the 2008 Olympic Redeem Team. LeBron posted this photo, the caption to Instagram, quote, "Still at the top of my game at the same time in the Hall of Fame." Channing,
I mean to watch.
member of the 04 Olympic team.
Yeah, I won't be getting one of those jackets. My Olympic experience.
They're not letting you in the building.
That's a flex, though. Still playing.
Heck yeah, it's a flex. You know what all this reminds me of is how much 04 sucked. Right? I could have been in the Hall of Fame. What the hell? What are your thoughts, Channing?
I like his watch, but
You were getting redeemed.
but like in his prime brother, man, you on Unk status, man. Guy, come on,
No
man.
redemption without you. Your contribution.
Yeah, they needed someone to.
If you weren't garbage, they couldn't have redeemed.
Can I get some love for being the redeemable? My whole life. Can we redeem after our
You didn't
experience
crawl,
with
they
Richard?
couldn't walk.
Yeah, exactly. If you didn't crawl.
They needed something.
We were the
to avenge.
sacrificial lamb. And that's fine.
And we appreciate Richard, your sacrifice.
We all laugh about
That's a nice
it.
jacket you got on today.
All right, friends, we got the latest, speaking of international play, from Giannis and Greece. They're playing in the FIBA Eurobasket right now. We'll tell you which Eurostar is primed to take off when the NBA season tips. We'll be right back.
Probably some Hall of Famers there, too.